or the energy security, which is one of the problem statement that we have in that park or in that area. From the industrial park, from the Free State Development Corporation, let me just say a few words, the background of the park itself. The park is owned by the Free State Development Corporation, which is the own state corporation, actually, from the Free State. We report direct to the DSTEA, which is the Department of Economic Tourism and Affairs. We have a board of directors. We also have the CEO who is standing as a board member. Most of the, let me start by saying, I'll just go through the presentation whilst it's been loaded, because I know it by heart. we are under the district of Thaba Mofutshane, and Maluti-Apofu is one of the 5 local municipalities which is based in Thaba Mofutshane. Is the largest one, having probably 54% of the population of the Thaba Mofutshane. You'll realize that the Phuthaditjhaba Industrial Park is one of the parks that were owned by the former homeland state before, which was Qwaqwa Development Corporation. We then transformed it to the Free State Development Corporation. So most of the properties or most of the assets there were from the homeland system. So factories were built 40 years ago. The only newest one that which were built were 20 years back. So you will imagine that there will be some problems that we are facing in terms of the maintenance issues, as well as the infrastructure in that area. Our industrial park is divided into 2 units. We've got what you call the small, we've got what you call the large industrial units. The small ones are the ones that we normally see are the incubators, which are less than 500 square meters. So most of them they will come in the form of a park, whereby small SMMEs will be sharing some space, will be also sharing some equipment. But we also have the standalone firms which are more than 500 square meters. The biggest one that we have is about 8,000 square meters. Okay, thanks. So, oh, there I come. I was very worried that it can't do this to me. So the biggest factory that we have is the one that is on the textile clothing, which is 8,000 square meters. They are employing 2,200 local people, with 90% which are women. So you'll realize that in the past 2 years or whatever, the issue of the COVID also affected most of the production in our industrial areas. So this 2,200 has been reduced to now 1.6 people who have been employed there. But fortunately enough, we still have them. The sectors that we have in the park are mostly in the textile, plastic products, and the general manufacturing. So like I've said that we also under the Maluti-Apofu municipality, which is under the district of Thaba Mofutshane. The municipality itself is the provider of the water, sanitation, and electricity, as well as the refurbishment of the roads for the whole area. So they are the one who are licensed to give us electricity there. So we are also having a vacant land. Let me just go to the next slide, which is giving us the statistics of the park. So we also have the number of vacant land or sites which are standing there, which can be utilized for some other reasons. It can be for the new developments, which is about 104,000 square meters. But the problem that we are facing now is the occupancy rate of our industrial park. Like I said before, that we have the factories which were built more than 40 years ago. Most of them, they need a lot of maintenance. But you'll see the assistance that we are getting from the DTIC when we go for. We do have the programs, like I'm saying that we are also involved with the DTIC as well as an NCPC, which is the department from Henry and then Bent. The phase 1 of the revitalization program was completed 4 years back for the security measures, and we also applied for the phase 2 of the revitalization program, which we are waiting the response from the DTIC, but at least the application has been worked on now. We will be soon getting the infrastructure refurbishment of the park. The National Cleaner Production Center, like I've said, that we are also getting assistance from them. We having a 3-year program. We are one of those who have been selected. Like Rwanda was saying that 3 of them were selected. Phuthaditjhaba is one of them that has been selected to participate in the program of the Eco-Industrial Park. Out of that, I want to elaborate further on these opportunities. We got that 6 opportunities that were outlined by Rwanda, but what I just want to say is that the first 2, which are the solar installations and the waste treatment plant, are the ones that are needing a lot of capital. But we agreed that we'll try to see what we can do, maybe to refer them to some other area, maybe. But what is very much encouraging is that for the solar, we are also encouraging our tenants, privately so, to do their own installations, but in communication with FDC, so that when they touch our product, our property, we give them authority to can do that. The one for the water treatment plant, yes, it is true that our treatment plant is non-functional, so it is very much disturbing. But the issue of the stormwater rain harvesting is the one that we are also starting to look at it as FDC now, starting from our own premises, our own offices, and then we can also escalate it to our tenants. So that one is very easy, doesn't need a lot of capital. Like Rwanda was saying, that we can do it as soon as possible. The last 4, which is a fabric waste and packing plant, industry committee, training center, and the dedicated area of the informal trading, we already started with the implementation of those. So we looking forward to see that this one of fabric waste and packing plant, we already identified a factory whereby we can give it to the guys with a reduced discount. The only thing that we are working on it is now a financial capital, the capital that they can get from the bank or IDC, like Ben has just mentioned. We also working on the industrial committees. We are starting already. The industrial committees will work like a social collaboration with our tenants as well as our stakeholders. But in this case, we are more focusing on the tenants themselves. We already have the bigger forum whereby we have the police, we have other stakeholders like CEDA, we have other stakeholders like municipality, whereby we are addressing all the issues like crime in the industrial park. But this one will be exactly looking at the policies of FDC, will be looking at the issues that, the challenges that they are facing as the tenants. So it will be a little bit specific one. Already we have the broader forum that we call the police and business forum in the park. The training center and the services, that this one relates to the textile training that the Rwanda has already done the feasibility study on it, and the application has already been submitted to PFM CETA for that training center. So we hopefully believe that this financial year, if you are not lucky, it will be the next financial year, it will be up and running. And the dedicated area for informal training center, that is the one that we also want to finish by the end of next financial year, by the end of next year, so that we make sure that our informal traders around the park. Our park is situated like it is inside the community. So we understand that this is where they get their food from. This is where they can feed their families from. But what we need to do as FDC is that we must make sure that they've got a very dedicated area whereby a municipality, whoever will come, will also assist them in terms of incentives and services. Coming to the real issue now, which is electricity supply for the Phuthaditjhaba area, I'm sure most of us, we read in the news that our municipality is on the top list of owing Eskom. So we are struggling in that regard. But probably it's an opportunity. I don't know if we are struggling like that. So Matla municipality is the one which has been licensed to supply electricity, including our industrial park. So we rely on them in terms of the supply of electricity. So like I've said that we are in the Free State, we are in the borders of the Free State and Lesotho. I already mentioned that the Matla is counting for a total population in the district of 54%. And unfortunately, we are also counting for 66% of the unemployment in the very same area. So when you look at the demarcations, we got a little bit of a problem in terms of poverty, as well as we have been declared sometimes that we are one of the nodal areas. So we are getting there. We are getting there. So the issue of the growth in terms of demographics and the new townships establishment, because we can't say that they can't build. Still they will build, they will still come to Kwakwa, they will still have the new establishments. This on its own has got a direct impact on our service delivery, as well as the overloading of the electricity network. So when we have the normal load shedding from Eskom, we'll also have another load shedding, our own load shedding. That's where we try to reduce the electricity problem network actually, because we can only get a certain percentage from Eskom in terms of the maximum demand that they can only give it to us in terms of the license that the Matla is having. So that is a challenge on its own. So that insufficient capacity on its own is giving us a challenge in terms of you'll find that our tenants, most of the time, they've got a lesser production time. Ben can attest to that sometimes we needed to have some conversation with the tenants, but we couldn't, because we have to give them time to operate and then to try to cap for the lost time. So, but having said that, we still try very hard to see what we can do as FDC as well as municipality to see when we go down. So electrical equipment as well is one of the worrying factor in the area, because most of them, they are aging, and then the lack of maintenance as well. You look at the capacity of the municipality as well is also affected in terms of the cash flow. The vandalism and the cable theft, this is what we get across the country. People are taking the cables all over. I don't know where they are going, abroad or somewhere, but this is a syndicate that is happening now in most of the areas. It's not only in Kwakwa. I've learned that most of the areas, they are experiencing the cable theft. So it's one of the challenges that we are having. So one of the biggest things that we also experiencing as our challenge there, our network is integrated into the residential area, which is the biggest problem that we need to deal with it. Because we can't share the network, we can't share the lines with the industrial area, with the residentials. In terms of the overloading or the load shedding, then either the community will suffer or the industrial park will suffer. We have some possible solutions for this, or opportunities for this. Right now, our political heads are busy with the Eskom. whereby we are still in negotiations with the takeover by Eskom in terms of the electricity revenue and maintenance. But this is going to be a process that can take us maybe more than 6 months to complete. So it can't be finalized today, but at least the negotiations have been started already. There's a passion from the politicians that we need to have Eskom taking over all the electricity revenue as well as the maintenance of the infrastructure. As we can see that we need close to at least 500,000, 500 million actually, 500 million to refurbish all the cables, to install the new cables, as well as to construct some new areas for the electricity supply. So that's where we are because of the aging infrastructure. In the park, like I've said, we have the vacant land whereby we can install some, we can use that land for the installation of the solar systems and things like that. When Rwanda came to us through NCPC, we identified the land whereby we can avail itself for the installation of the solar PVs. We've got 3.4 hectares, which is available now in the park. This can at least give a potential installation of capacity of the approximately the 4 megawatts that can supply the area itself. Sorry. So this is, I think you've seen this slide before, which was presented by Rwanda. So this is where we are. We have in this vacant land, this site number 12. Is about 7,900 square meters. And then we also have these two sites, 114 and 116, whereby this can be installed, solar system can be installed. Our industrial park is divided into 3 areas. It's industrial area 1, which is the very, very old one. We have the industrial area 2 and area 3. These are they've been built recently. In 20 years back, but the industrial area 1 has been built a long time ago, in 40 years. So we divided them into 3 areas. It's the biggest one in the Free State, and then that is why we had, even when we are dealing with the revitalization program, we need to start by saying that we will deal with in the area 1, area 2, and area 3. That's the only way that we can cover it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our presentation, and thank you very much.